Hi everybody, it's Joni Young here. Welcome back for another painting tutorial in acrylics. Today I've got a special one for you. It's very colorful and we're going to be painting sunflowers in a basket with some grapes and a few little pumpkins, mini pumpkins down below. And I'm working on an 11 by 14 stretched and primed canvas. Let's go over the colors I'm using today and the brushes. I'm going to be using a dry mop brush just for blending out the background. We're going to be adding some light blue violet and some white for the background color. And I'm going to be using a flat brush, my flat brush here, number 20, and then my number 3 round. The colors I'm using today are titanium white, cadmium yellow. I'm really loving this cadmium yellow by Holbein lately. It's just beautiful. I've got a neon luminous orange, also by Holbein, burnt sienna, dioxazine purple, hooker's green hue permanent, and light blue violet. So if you guys are ready, let's jump in and get started. I'm going to be using this flat brush. I'm just going to scoop up this blue and I'm just going to go all over the canvas. Doesn't matter how you paint it, any direction you want. We're going to be blurring it out anyways. And it's just background noise, just a beautiful shade of blue. I've chosen that I know will be complementary to the peach and yellows and blend out with a dry mop brush. Just go over really lightly like this in little circles. Now, if you have too much paint, like if the paint is really thick that you're trying to blend out, it's not going to work either. And the next thing I'm going to do is come in with my flat brush and I'm going to take a little bit of brown and purple, and I'm going to go over the bottom like this, just sweep in. I'm deliberately doing this onto the wet blue paint so that we get a lighter shade, because I want to use these colors also for some shadows once it's dry. I'm going to add the base of the basket down here. I want to make sure that I add it low enough that I have room for my flowers and all the goodies that are going to be in the basket. So what we're going to do is add a little diagonal line from about here and there. So we want it to, and then I'm going to round it out. We want it to be slightly wider at the top. And it's important to mention that I'm drying it off. You need to know that, otherwise you're going to get a different outcome and it might not be the one that you want, because it can be a little bit challenging to try and build up your highlights on wet paint shape that I want. We're going to add the handle after, because we're going to have some flowers and leaves behind part of the handle. So, and white. I'm going to add hints of yellow and orange in there as well. So we'll just mix that up and get a nice light tan sort of brown color, kind of twisted like this. So we're just going to take our brush, go down and twist around, up and down and twist around. Take some more. You can make them a little wider if you want, and they don't all have to be the same size. And what we're going to do is start adding these thin loops like this, close together, leaving a space. You're doing, and if you want something to look super realistic, but just for something like this. And I painted baskets before in other tutorials. I think I've got a basket of apples. I've got, I think it's one like by the beach I did, and then I've added baskets of flowers to some bicycle paintings. I'm just going to add a little bit more white and go over a few of these lines to add some highlights. And yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys some simple ways of doing it. So it's just repetition and leaving those spaces. So feel free to look through my whole flowers playlist for different approaches and types of settings for some flowers, but you can start with the center or the petals first. So I'm starting with the lightest part of the petals first. And I'm just gonna start with the pointy end of my brush and pull in, make these a little bit bigger. Take some more. I'm going to be going over with another coat of white with my yellow after, because this is going to end up looking green over top of the blue if I don't. Up here, you can just do a little pressure and then pull and let off, a little pressure, just like painting leaves. I do the same kind of thing. The amount of pressure you're using, when to let off and when to apply more pressure, can really play a role in techniques of painting and the outcome of your paintings and what you're painting. A lot of people don't know that you can use your brush different ways. While I'm painting this, I just want to say thank you all for your support here and on my Patreon and my other channel. If you guys don't know, I've been mentioning it lately because not a lot of people know, and they're asking me if I would consider doing watercolor and gouache tutorials. And I absolutely love watercolor and gouache. So I've created I've got a secondary channel. I'm going to go over this right here. I'm just going to have some petals coming down here, because we're going to have this one kind of turned as well, like this one. And then we'll come in from the other side. And I'm using a lot of white at this point because I want it to show up against what I'm painting over. Closer in the center, and I'm just going to work my brush out, not into this section though. Not on this side, just because of how it's turned. I can't promise or guarantee I'm going to paint every request I get, but you guys give me a lot of good ideas, and I've created tutorials for many of your ideas, so thank you. Using is brown. I'm just gonna tap around here. I'm gonna slightly go over. I'm not painting all the sunflower because we're going to have some leaves. Okay, we're going to keep that one like half an oval shape because of the side circle inside. By tapping, you get a little bit more texture by doing a little tap. My green, a little bit of purple, kind of wiggle around, and then have it a little narrower and thinner on the end. I'll take some yellow, some white, and just go inside. I'll add another one here. More of the dark green, a little bit of purple. You can add a few little lines like this. I'm going to add another little leaf coming down here. Add a little stem here. Add a few other little hints of leaves in here as well. Pumpkin right here, just a mini little pumpkin. I'm going to take some white and come inside. I don't want it to be see-through, so I've got to add some white here so we don't see that basket. So more orange and yellow. I'm going to make it darker on the bottom. I'm going to pick up a little bit of my brown here, mix it up, and just come up from the base, and we'll start to add some lines. So we'll just go around. Again, I'm using brown and orange, and we'll start coming down and adding our lines. When we get into the middle of the pumpkin, I always find the middle of the pumpkin is the hardest for people to figure out, right? They're really arched like this on the sides, and then they tend to be just a little bit almost straight in the center. I'm going to pick up some of my white, yellow, and orange, and I'm going to come in between here. I'm going to add a little bump at the top, kind of looks rounded, so it doesn't come to much of a point. See, it kind of goes up. Add a little bit more orange down low. More orange, more brown. And the brown I'm using, of course, I mentioned at the beginning, it's burnt sienna, so it's a nice warm sort of chestnut fallish color with my purple. And I'm going to start by adding a section here. I'm going to go over some of this here just with the purple for my grapes. I'm going to have a few little ones that are, I'm going over in circles, little circles here. I'm also going to add some down here. These are going to be our grapes. A little bit on this side over here as well. circles. Close together. This is the simplest way to paint grapes. And then we'll be able to build up to make them 3D. It gives them that finishing kind of frosty grape look, and it really adds extra life to them. So just take a few that some of these are still a little bit wet. I guess I had some thick paint. Just add a little bit here and there. You can use your finger. You can add a little, in some spots, a little extra white if you want to make them look more shiny. But I really love the look of freshly picked off the vine, sort of that frosted look that they get. I'm just going to come in between some of these and add a little bit more purple, just straight purple. See how it makes them stand out a little bit more? A little pumpkin around the side here. I'm going to widen this out a little bit and then add a few lines. Take a little bit of purple. With the purple, you just want to add it on the bottom and then a little bit more so on the bottom, a little wider on the lines where the lines are, and then it gets thinner on the top. I go underneath over part of that vine. I'll take a little bit more of my dark green and purple. Go up, up, and then follow that shape. Add a few lines in there. Once your leaves are dry, you can filter over with a little bit more just straight green if you want for some more color. It's more of a cool green, so we do have a lot of olive green going on, which is nice. It's quite nice with the grapes. but it's also nice to have a little bit of that rich, cool green as well. And we're gonna go over top of part of this flower from here and over. Now we can make it a little thicker. We're gonna curve over and under, over and under. A little bit of white in there. And under. Petals here in front. We still have a hint of that handle showing. I'm going to add another color. I'm going to take some of my bright aqua green. It's a minty turquoise. Take a little bit of white with it. And I'm going to add hints of this because I just think it's so pretty. I'm really like guided with color with my paintings. This is a cool green, so it'll look nice over top of part of your leaves, so you're still left with the dark Hooker's Green Hue Permanent and your warm olive greens. And take a little bit of that dark green and mix it up. And we can get another shade as well, which is pretty. I'm right in the center part here, and I'm just gonna gently pull out like that. Tap and dab it around. I'm going to switch over to my round brush now. Take some more white, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange. Just make a really pretty shade of peach. And I'm going to make these a little bit narrower. So we've got these wider, more transparent ones, right? Initially. And then we're just going to start to make it a little bit more solid as we get closer to the center. Use more white. Okay, this painting's all done. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy painting along. See you soon in another video. Take care. Bye!